to the second part of annual return for 2018-19. In the previous part, we had discussed that what would be the rationale of treatment of transactions of 17-18 reflected in GSTR 3B of 18-19 while filing annual return for 18-19. We had discussed the rationale. Now, in this part, we would be seeing how to implement that rationale while filing annual return for 18-19. Before moving ahead, let's have a brief discussion about the conclusion in the previous part. We had concluded that table 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of GSTR 9 of 18-19 should only contain figures of 18-19 and not figures of 17-18 reported in GSTR 3B of 18-19. So while filing annual return of 18-19, you would only be reporting figures of 18-19 in all these tables, whether for input or output. And second, this might result in unreconciled figures in some tables, but then as reconciliation can be provided as and when required. There might be some cases in table 6 or in some other tables that there would be unreconciled figures, but that unreconciled figures could be explained along with the other figures which have been reported in 17-18, and we would be looking how to reconcile them along with examples in the coming slides. So for now, the rationale is all the tables of GSTR 9 of 18-19 would be covering figures of 18-19. It would not be covering figures of 17-18 which have been reported in GSTR 3B of 18-19. This is the first example. In the first example, we have taken is supposedly a liability of 17-18 was not reported in GSTR 3B of 17-18 but was reported in GSTR 3B of 18-19. So how would be the figures reflecting? My total output figure reported in GSTR 3B of 18-19 is 150 rupees, out of which 100 rupees pertains to 18-19 and 50 rupees pertains to outward supplies for which tax was declared in 18-19 but was relating to 17-18. So this 100 rupees which is pertaining to 18-19 and shown in 3B of 18-19 would be reflected in table 4 of 18-19 GSTR 9. Now this 50 rupees, that additional liability of 17-18 which was reported in 3B of 18-19 is already been declared in table 10 of GSTR 9 of 17-18. It has already been reported of transactions of 17-18 which have been declared in 3B of 18-19 in the annual return of 17-18. So in my view and the rationale as we have developed, there would be no treatment of this 50 rupees in GSTR 9 of 18-19. Our table 4 of 18-19 would only be reflecting figures of 100 rupees. Now coming to the second example, there was excess liability reported in 17-18 but was adjusted in GSTR 3B of 18-19. Take an example where total liability reported in 18-19 is 130 rupees, out of which liability pertaining to 18-19 is 150 rupees and 20 rupees 20 rupees output liability is excess liability reported in GSTR 3B of 17-18 which was adjusted in GSTR 3B of 18-19. So there is a negative figure of 20 rupees. Okay, actual liability of 17-18 was 100 rupees but it was reported as 120 rupees in 17-18 and that 20 rupees has been adjusted in GSTR 3B of 18-19 up till March 19. Now this 150 rupees which is purely pertaining to 18-19 and has been reflected in the 3B of 18-19 would be shown in table 4. This 20 rupees adjusted excess liability of 17-18 in 3B of 18-19 has already been shown in table 11 of GSTR 9 of 17-18. Therefore, applying our rationale that GSTR 9 of 1819 should only be containing figures of 1819, there would be no treatment of this 20 rupees in table 4 of GSTR 9. So my annual return table 4 of GSTR 9 of 1819 would only be containing figures of 150 rupees, and this 20 rupees would be having no impact on GSTR 9 of 1819. Now supposedly if the officer asks that your 3B was reflecting only 130 rupees but your table 4 is reflecting 150 rupees, how this 20 rupees? That I can easily explain that 20 rupees has already been reported in GSTR 9 table 11 of 1718. So if my table 4 and table 4 of 1819 and table 11 of GSTR 9 of 1718 are looked cumulatively, this would be matching with my GSTR 3B of 1890. So this is how we can reconcile the figures of 3B vis-a-vis GSTR 9 of 1718 and 1819. Now coming to the ITC part. Supposedly there was a short ITC claimed in 1718 but balance ITC was claimed in GSTR 3B of 1819. Let's take an example. My total ITC claimed in 3B of 1819 is 110, out of which 100 rupees pertains to 1819 and 10 rupees pertains to 1718, which was claimed in 3B of 1819. As we have discussed that our GSTR 9 should be containing figures of GSTR 9 of 1819 should be containing figures of 1819 only. So table 6 of GSTR 9 of 1819 would be giving details of 100 rupees only, and this 10 rupees which has been claimed in 1819 for 1718 has already been reported in table 13 of GSTR 9 of 1718. Therefore there would be no treatment of this ITC in GSTR 9 of 1819. Only table 6, the details which I have to fill from 6B, would only be containing details of 100 rupees. Now how it would be presented in GSTR 9? My table 6A would be auto populated with figures of 110 rupees, since this was the total ITC claimed in GSTR 3B of 1819. But I would be only giving details of 100 rupees in table 6B. I've assumed that there is no RCM credit for simplicity. So I would be reporting only 100 rupees in table 6B, and there would be a net difference of 10 rupees in table 6J. This difference of 10 rupees could easily be explained with my reporting in table 13 of GSTR 9 of 1718. There would be difference of 10 rupees, but that would be equivalent to the figure reported in table 13 of GSTR 9 of 1718. So if somebody asks me why you have reported less ITC in table 6B when you have claimed 110 rupees table 6A, I can show them with the reporting made in table 13 of GSTR 9 of 1718. Now coming to second example wherein excess ITC was claimed in 1718 and it was reversed in 3B of 1890. So my total ITC supposedly in GSTR 3B is 90 rupees, out of which 100 rupees pertains to 1819 and there is a negative figure 10 rupees adjusted of ITC of 1718 which was reversed in 1819. So my net ITC comes to 90 rupees. This 100 rupees which pertains to 1819 would be reflected in table 6 of GSTR 9 of 1819, and this 10 rupees which has been adjusted in GSTR 3B of 1819 but pertains to 1718 has already been reported in table 12 of GSTR 9 of 1718. Therefore there would be no treatment in GSTR 9 of 1819. Now how it would be reflected? My table 6A of GSTR 9 would be auto populated with 90 rupees, since the ITC claimed in GSTR 3B was 90 rupees in 1819. But my table 6B, for simplicity again, where I have ignored all other ITCs relating to RCM or import or otherwise. My table 6B would be containing details of 100 rupees, since there was a ITC of 100 rupees which was claimed in 3B of 1819 but was reduced by 10 rupees on account of 1718. So my table 6B would be reported with 100 rupees, and there would be a difference of 10 rupees, excess ITC claimed in 10 rupees, which would be equivalent to table 12 of GSTR 9 of 1718. My officer might ask me that your table 6 has been auto-populated with 90 rupees, but you have reported 100 rupees in 6P. Why this 100 rupees? Why this excess ITC of 10 rupees? I can easily explain that this difference of 10 rupees can be vouched or verified from table 12 of GSTR 9 of 1780. Now all these four examples have been prepared on the rationale that my GSTR 9 of 1819 should be containing figures of 1819 only, irrespective my 3B was containing figures of 1718 which were reported in 1819. And for my detailed analysis that how we have reached to this rationale, kindly go to my video for annual return, how adjustments are of 1718 made in 3B of 1819 are to be treated in GSTR 9 of 1819. Now coming to the next part, how treatment of ITC is to be made in table 8 of GSTR 9. That we have discussed table 4, 5, 6 and 7, and the same rationale would be adopted in all these four tables. Now coming to table 8 of GSTR 9, how it would be treated. Now look at this example. My total ITC claimed in GSTR 3B for 1819 was 140 rupees. वो उस 140 रुपए में से 90 रुपए तो थे, वो तो ITC फॉर 1819 थे, and 50 rupees were ITC for 1718 which was claimed in 1819 till March 19. So therefore my total ITC claimed in 3B was 140 rupees. Now as we had developed a rationale that my GSTR 9 of 1819 should be containing figures only of 1819, therefore I would be filling 90 rupees in table 6B. This 50 rupees has already been reported in GSTR 9 of 1718 in table 13, and therefore there would be no treatment in GSTR 9 of 1819. So this is how I would be reporting in table 6B. Now how this would be impacting my table 8. My table 8A, as we all know, is being auto-populated from GSTR 2A. Now supposedly my GSTR 2A for 1819 shows an ITC of 80 rupees. This is an absolute figure. Out of this, 20 rupees is an ineligible ITC and 60 rupees is my eligible ITC. Ineligible ITC can be on account of anything, 17.5 block credit of car, of immovable property, anything. So my table 8A would be getting auto-populated from entire rupees 80 rupees. Since computer cannot bifurcate between eligible and ineligible, the entire ITC of 2A would be auto-populated in table 8A. My table 8B would be getting auto-populated from table 6B, and since I have reported 90 rupees in table 6B, table 8B would be getting the figure of 90 rupees. For simplicity, I have considered table 8C as nil. So on an overall basis, my difference in table 8D would be minus 10. It would be showing that table 8A ITC is 80 rupees, table 8B ITC claimed is 90 rupees, therefore there is an excess ITC claimed of 10 rupees. Now this, whether this 10 rupees is the correct figure, and somewhere and sometimes I've been asked that when table 8D shows a negative figure, it is required to fill 8E or 8F. Through this presentation, I would try to give the answer to this question also. Now since there is a negative excess ITC claimed of minus 10 rupees, whether I am required to report figures in table 8E and 8F, and if I report, what would be its impact? Table 8E is ITC available in 2A but not availed. Table 8F is ITC available in 2A but ineligible. Now, since out of this 80 rupees, 20 rupees are ineligible, so these are available in 2A, but since it is ineligible, I am required to report it in 20 rupees. 20 rupees in table 8F. Now, once I report this 20 rupees in table F, how my officer would be seeing it? That out of this 80 rupees, 20 rupees are ineligible. Therefore, eligible ITC being auto-populated in 2A is 60 rupees. And eligible ITC claimed in 3B for 1819 is 90 rupees. Therefore, there is an excess ITC claimed for eligible ITC in 3B vis-a-vis eligible ITC being auto-populated in GSTR 2A. Although the absolute figure auto-populated in GSTR 2 is 80 rupees, but out of this 80 rupees, only 60 are eligible, and against this 60, I have claimed ITC of 90 rupees. Therefore, there is a negative or excess ITC claimed of 30 rupees towards eligible ITC. So, this would be the correct picture which would be being reflected in GSTR 9, and through which my officer would be able to understand the situation. But supposedly, if I do not report this 20 rupees in table 8F, my officer would be thinking that entire 80 rupees is my eligible ITC. Out of this, I have claimed an eligible ITC of 90 rupees, and there is only an excess ITC claimed of 10 rupees towards eligible ITC. This would be an incorrect reporting, since I am hiding the fact that out of this 80 rupees there is an ineligible ITC of 20 rupees, and I am only reflecting him a difference of 10 rupees against a difference of 30 rupees if I am not reporting this 20 rupees in table 8F. So if I report 20 rupees in table 8F, my officer would know that this is a 30 rupees excess ITC claimed. If I am not reporting 20 rupees, my officer would be knowing that there is only a difference of 10 rupees in eligible ITC claimed in GSTR 3B vis-a-vis ITC auto-populated in 2A, which would be an incorrect picture, incorrect presentation of facts, and in some cases, since it is an incorrect reporting, it may lead to penal consequences as well. So I have to be very careful while reporting table 8E and table 8F, and these figures have to be invariably reported. We cannot report it as nil figures, treating that these are insignificant figures. These are very significant figures in table 8E and 8F for understanding of figures which are being auto-populated in table 8A. Now coming to the second part, that the rationale which we have developed, that our 1819 annual return should contain figures of 1819 only and not 1718 auto-populated in 1819. So as per that rationale, only 90 rupees are to be reported in table 6B, and these 90 rupees would be auto-populated in table 8B and would be compared with the figure of 80 rupees auto-populated in 8A on the basis of GSTR 2A. Now, if I take the other side of argument, that entire ITC which has been claimed in GSTR 3B of 1819 is to be reported in table 6B, since it is ITC availed in GSTR 3B of 1819. So I would be reporting 140 rupees in table 6B, and if I report 140 rupees in table 6B, my table 8B would be auto-populated with 140 rupees. Now this 140 would be containing ITC of 50 rupees of 1718, which I would be comparing with 80 rupees, which is purely pertaining to 1819 only. So there would be a mismatch between table 8A and table 8B, whereby table 8A is only containing details of ITC of 1819, but my table 8B, if I fill it with 140 rupees, I would be providing details of both 1819 as well as 1718, which would be leading to an incorrect picture of excess ITC claimed of 60 rupees in table 8D, and if I report 20 rupees in table 8F, then it would be 80 rupees excess ITC claimed. purely on account of 1718 credit being reflected in table 6b and being auto populated in table 8b. So this argument also shows that if I am reporting 140 rupees my entire ITC in table 6b, I would be creating an incorrect picture in table 8 as well. But if I am reporting only 90 rupees, that is ITC pertaining to 1819 in table 6b, it would also be leading to a correct picture in table 8, where I am comparing ITC auto populated in 2A for 1819 with ITC claimed in GSTR 3B for 1819. So this is all about table 8 of GSTR 9 and how it has to be filled. Thank you very much. And today we have covered how to present the figures in various tables from table 4 to table 8. In the coming sessions, we would be discussing more about the tables and about the nitty-gritties and the critical issues which would be facing in filing GSTR 9 of 1819. Be with us. We hope to bring clarity on various issues until the government brings the press release with all the clarification on these issues, and there is a dire need to bring clarification on these issues, and sooner it would be better. But until then we would be taking a harmonious views of these tables along with the reading of relevant sections so as to give an understanding how to prepare for the annual returns of 1819. Thank you very much for being with us. If you like our channel and presentation, do like, share and subscribe our presentations and channel. Thank you.